Matt Cogar here, winning Pool B, advancing now to the championship day. Something we come to expect, obviously, but Matt, you're a perfectionist, you're a winner, you want to do better. Is there things you can take away today to improve on, or things that you did well that you just need to keep the same?
No, I definitely can do better. It's always a lifelong pursuit of perfection, I guess, in doing this. And today it was just, sometimes it's just a little bit of the wood draw, just dealing with the wood that you end up with. And the chopping, I think, is going pretty good. Just a few things to get better at. And then the sawing, my saw didn't really quite suit that log, so I'm hearing that the wood should be a little bit better for tomorrow. And then the hope is that saw will do just fine. It's my best saw, so it's my only saw. I'll have to use it anyway. Probably just cleaning up a little bit of fluidity, and the stock saw is just one of those things that happens. We can hit the chain brake, but I think that was just more of a position and focus, and I'll probably be switched on a little bit more tomorrow.
The pool you guys had today, every pool normally has a rookie competitor, but this was the one pool that didn't. It was top to bottom, really solid, and the points were tight. A little bit nerve-wracking when you get to the saw, stock saw or hot saw, because the mistakes just happen, and you don't want to lose points in such a tight pool.
Oh, it's amazing the pool B. It was a really tight pool the whole way through. I mean, everybody was sharing points throughout. And it gets down to crunch time. It's how well you do in the stock saw early on, and then when it gets to the hot saw, you got to put those cuts up right away. And it was pretty fortunate to come away with the hot saw win there. I mean, I knew I had to at least make my 3 cuts to get in, and then I guess I accidentally kind of went for it. And I was very nervous the whole way because there were a few little crooked cuts in there, but everything worked out in the end.
Last thing, I know the wood's been a big talk, a little bit harder for some cuts, perfect for others. We saw a world record fall yesterday with Nate Hodges in the hot saw. Any other chances with Pool C and championship tomorrow that another world record could fall, or a really, really fast time in one of these disciplines?
Anytime we set world records, it's usually what you've done to prepare for it, because you have to have everything working for you. Everything's got to be working. The saw's got to be working, the axes. You got to draw the wood, and then you also got to be switched on. So everything's got to work for your benefit. And yesterday, everything was just working really good for Nate. There wasn't a lot of pressure for him in the hot saw either, so he had that freedom to just rip one off as quick as he could, and everything worked out good.
Alex Storm, Pool B, advancing on to Championship Sunday now. Tell me about your consistent day overall. You really never had many lows, and you really threatened in a lot of disciplines.
Yeah, I'd say that my events that should have been strong events, like springboard and single buck, I didn't work out the way they typically do. I cut a terrible springboard for me, and that was a bad start, but I just kind of pushed it out of my mind, came back with first place stock saw run, which is great for me because I typically make mistakes in the stock saw, so my bad event was my best event. And then I was pretty consistent in the chops. First and second or third in the chops, second or third. And then, came through at the end, just tried to make a clean hot saw run. I've never made a hot saw run here, so it felt good to make a clean run. I've been putting a lot of work into my worst events this year, and that is what you have to do if you want to be competitive. You have to be objective, look at yourself, see what your strengths are, keep your skills up in your strengths, but also really work as hard as you can on your weak events.
Tell me about, I believe this is your first Championship Sunday appearance. Now the options are endless. You can go from champion, you can be out in the first cut, it doesn't matter, but you have now made it there. You've had probably a long journey to get here through college and then coming up short other times. What is going through you, the immediate emotions of being able to just accomplish that step?
Yeah. I can remember in 2023, my first year in the Steel Timber Sports Series, I made it to the semifinals. I missed the cut to make it into the finals, and I sat in the stands with my dad watching the finals, and I said, I really hate watching this. Not that I hate watching Steel Timber Sports, but I hate not being in it. And so every year so far that I've been in it, the last 3 years, I've had to sit there on Sunday and watch it. And so to be in it this year is great. I'm looking to carry on the momentum and see where things fall.
Cassidy, Scheer advancing on to Championship Sunday. That's got to be a great feeling, obviously, but evaluate your 6 disciplines. There might have been some highs, lows to you, what you want to improve on, what you did well that you want to keep going into tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I cut everything okay, but not great. That's not going to cut it tomorrow. My goal tomorrow is to make the hot saw round. Cut clean and have fun. My biggest takeaway is that American Timber Sports is deep. That was a great pool. 7 of us were in it right until the end. And it's cool for the sport, for our country, to know that you really can't make mistakes and you need to stay on top of it if you want to get to the final. So that's my big takeaway.
One of the events that's been highly talked about is the single buck with the different changes. For someone who has had such a routine for so many years, how much of an adjustment period was it for you mentally, but also just, your regiment and routine for that event, because you reeled off such a great time in that?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, my goals for Lumberjack Sports this year were to get springboard wins and single buck wins at the Lumberjack World Championships last weekend. It wasn't about STIHL Timber Sports. That said, I knew that with those being premium points events in the finals, that could carry over well. But the foot block sawing is different. I can put my legs into it so much more. I could have cut that single buck today in 1.5, 2 seconds faster had I had foot blocks. The speed just didn't feel there. I couldn't put the pressure. I can just use other muscles in my body that I haven't dialed in. I didn't practice without foot blocks until this past week. That's on me. But I'll make this adjustment better in the future. I've got some ideas to make my own shoes that kind of have them built in, and I'm gonna test the rules, and maybe they'll have to write some new ones.
Mark Bouquin advancing out of Pool B to Championship Sunday. Seemed like you had a really solid overall day. Are there some high points you can hold on to and some low points you can look to correct for Sunday?
Yeah, there is. I mean, I did very well in the single buck. I was happy with my stock saw. I was happy with my underhand. I was even happy with my hot saw. I just had a double pump on the hot saw. Just don't do that. And if I get in the mid 5s, I'll be happy. Biggest things I need to work on are my springboard and my standing block. I was really looking forward to the springboard today, and to screw it up that badly was just disappointing. And to be my first event, but I got through it. So beating all the way back, trying to get to the top or get through, and thankfully I made it by the skin of my teeth, but I got through. So
you dug out of that hole from springboard, like you said, and you really showed who you can be. And it's kind of looking like Mark Bouquin from the past. I guess the last few years,
yeah.
It's been a different version of you with health and getting back to that. You look great, and it looked like your conditioning, everything was great. How do you feel?
I feel amazing physically. It's the best health I've been in probably 4 or 5 years. Like you said, I had some heart problems, and along with that, a lot of issues, and with those came a lot of weight gain. You know, I can make a million excuses, but I allowed all this weight gain to happen, and I struggled to fight back from that. But I'm getting close to where I was prior. Like, I've been working out and training a ton, and it's paying off. I've lost the weight, and overall I just feel healthier than I've been in a long time.